My neighbour is mowing his lawn and there is a train passing by, so this is going to be a nice noisy intro. G'day, I'm Molly and you're about to listen to episode 2 of artVart. This is my new mini-series / podcast where I'm talking to creators from all over the place about what they do and how they do it. In this episode, I'll be talking to my friend and one of my favourite artists, Plastic Pipes. Like in episode 1 with writer KL Morgan, Pipes and I talked for a little while, so I've broken this episode down into 2 parts. Part 2 will be out next Monday. If you've got a suggestion on who you'd like to see me talk to next, leave a comment down below or head over to my Instagram and Twitter and send me a message. Episode 2, part 1, here we go. One thing I didn't do last time was actually get my guests to introduce themselves. So if you want to give us like a quick hello and like tell us who you are, that'd be so cool.
All right. Like right now?
Yeah, just go for it.
Oh, okay. So I'm Pipes. I am an artist. That's kind of all I got going on for me.
Well, that's great. What kind of art do you do? Like, what's your preference like?
I like to go back and forth between traditional and digital, but recently I've just been mostly digital because it's how I do my work. But ideally, I want to get back into doing like more traditional stuff because I miss it. It's fun. I want to get back into like painting stuff.
Yeah. Do you ever get that like when you meet someone new and they ask you that question and they're like, so what do you do? And you're like, I'm an artist. And they're like, oh, cool. Like, what kind of art do you do? And you're like, just don't Google me.
No, I am like, I always get the, can you draw my grandparents or can you draw my kids? Or can you draw I don't get the thing, but occasionally they'll be like, how do you sell your art? And I'm like, online. And they're like, I'll look you up. And I'm like,
please don't do that.
Yeah, no, it's like I like my art. I'm really proud of where it's gotten to.
Yeah.
Like we kind of grew up as artists together, I think.
Yeah.
Like, cause we did what in like Korosami, and then have kind of like worked to where we are now. Mm-hmm. But so a lot of the people like in my life, they don't know that part of my life, and it's so.
You're kind of like Supergirl, really, aren't you? So like when you take your glasses off, is that when you're Pipes and like?
No, I'm actually deeply blind. I'm going to be in bifocals in like 10 years, dude.
Oh man, my other glasses are bifocal.
Really?
Yeah, but it was more just the convenience of like looking down and drawing and then looking at my computer screen.
Oh, yeah.
I was at the osteo the other day and they're like the sweetest like ladies there. And the one that I saw was like, oh, so is it your day off today? What have you got planned? And I was like, oh, I'm just going to do some drawing. And she was like, oh yeah, I read in your file, like the other osteo has written that you like to draw. What do you like to do? And I was like,
Have you ever heard of the 100?
That used to be my go-to. Like,
do you get that we're not the real artists when we do digital?
No, I have never.
Really?
I've never had that. Do you?
I think it's like karma for me because when I was like a baby artist, like that was my thinking too. When I was like, oh, it's digital art, it's not real. Yeah, and then I started doing it and I was like, this is so hard.
It's so much harder. It's like you have to learn how to draw all over again.
It really was. So it's kind of, it's a whole new medium.
Yeah.
But it was like, so now though, it's really crummy to hear.
Yeah.
Like, just do digital. That's not real. And I'm like, all right.
Oh, cries. You have a tablet, right? Like a drawing tablet?
Yes. I have this one.
Oh my god, we have the same one!
Is yours bigger? Or you have a small one too?
I've got the small one.
I didn't like the size. I kind of want to get the bigger size now that I've worked with this one.
My first tablet, I still have it. It's, I wonder if I can find it. It's a silver, it doesn't even, I don't think it even has like a series that it was in. It was just Wacom. Do you say Wacom or Wacom?
I always say Wacom.
Okay, Wacom.
You know, Wacom.
It was silver, and I only updated like 2 years ago. It was my brother's before it was mine, and I just used it until I couldn't update the drivers anymore. And it was the same size, and I just have loved it ever since. I remember trying to use the big one at like a test booth at Comic-Con once, and I was like, oh, there's too much room.
No, I was kind of the same. The first tablet I had was the Bamboo. And I loved it. It was perfect. It worked so good. And then it just died. And then I went from that one. My friend Matt gave me his tablet, and it was a bigger one. It was like a medium-sized one. And I at first I kind of struggled with it, but I really ended up just liking having more room and just a little more space to work on than the smaller one.
Yeah, right. I remember talking to Fiona once about her tablet, and I think I sent her a picture of my desk, and she questioned the position of where I had my tablet. Do you sit it on your lap and draw with it in front of you, or do you put it on a desk? Or
I'm more comfortable with it on my lap. I actually have to have a little book under it though.
Oh yeah,
because it's so small. But I like to put it on my lap. It's just easier.
I think I'm doing it all wrong then, because I have mine off to the side, like it sits where my computer mouse would sit.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's adjustable. Like
if I put it in front of me though, I don't think I'd be able to use it anymore.
I think that's fine if you use it off to the side, because it is the same as the mouse, right?
Yeah.
Like that makes sense to me.
I didn't even think of putting it in front of me and like using it like as if it was a bit of paper. I remember the first time I plugged the old one in. I was like, out of the way, mouse. In goes the tablet.
No, I think on the box it's off to the side.
Is it? Maybe I'm right and you're all wrong.
No, I think the only one I've heard that the specific way you're supposed to use it is to have it is the Cintiqs, because they're the screen ones. But these, I think it really is just what's more comfortable.
Interesting. I've seen you draw in real life. I've had the pleasure to be in your vicinity. And you can just like prop yourself up anywhere and like whatever's around you, you can just draw in your environment. And I really struggle to do that.
Really?
And I really admire that as a quality in you.
Thank you.
Do you have a workspace like at your house that you designate yourself to sit at?
Yeah, I have two. So it's like a little kiddie table. I'm really short, you've seen me. And so it's kind of a low table, and I can put my laptop on that and then sit behind it and work from there. And then I have like my real like workspace desk in my bedroom, but it's like over there. And if I can't get I'm situated right here now. I'd show you, but I'll send you a picture later.
Yeah, sweet.
I think it just kind of came forth the habit. Like I can kind of draw anywhere because it gives me something to do with my hands.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting there like just playing on my phone for hours on it.
Yes, that's another thing. You draw on your phone. Like,
yes! It's a really expensive phone. My phone's nicer than my computer.
You gotta treat yourself sometimes.
Yeah, this was like so I just have a little thing, and then...
What phone is it?
It's a Galaxy S Note 9, I think.
Yep.
It's nice because it's just easy. I can do quick little doodles. Do you have an iPad? Have you gotten one?
No, I'm saving up for one.
Oh, that's what I wanted to... I think Fiona has one, right?
Yes. Did she get the iPad? I know she's got a Cintiq.
Yeah.
That jerk.
Dude, she's so fast. She puts out so much content all the time. Like, I'm always so blown away.
Yep. It's sort of soul-destroying.
I don't know. Like... A little, because you're like, oh man.
How do you move so quickly?
Yeah, it's like, it's really, I'm always really impressed, just constantly and consistently.
Yeah.
And, like, it's all like so nice looking.
I know. We used to draw together all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
Those were the days. Karasami fandom days.
Yeah.
Take this back. You also draw in, like, I've got a sketch in my sketchbook where you've drawn in ballpoint pen. I feel like that's another thing that I don't see a lot of people just doing. But maybe I'm not looking at the right people or places. But is that something you do a lot?
Haven't as much recently. That's another one that I want to get back into. There's an artist I follow on Instagram. Let me get his name. He does these, he's who kind of got me into it. He does these like crazy hyper-realistic drawings with ballpoint pen. And so, like, I think mine are cute. They're nice, but his are just mind-blowing. So, okay, so it's Nicholas B. Sanchez on Instagram. And he does just, again, they're just, you look at them and you don't even...
Yeah.
It just always goes in my head how he does it. He has like a special pen that he made, and it's a ballpoint pen. It has 3 different sizes to work with. Yeah, I want to get it. It's only like $10.
So he's like mass produced it so you can buy it?
As far as I know.
That's really
he has
cool.
A class too, I think. Yeah,
is he like one of those super cool peeps on Skillshare?
What?
Have you heard of Skillshare, the website?
No.
Oh man, if I was sponsored right now, this would be such a great ad. Pens, yes. You've got your own little pencil case, don't you? What sort of pens do you use?
So, I like having at least one brush pen, just because they're fun to work with.
Yeah.
And then it's usually just different ballpoint pens, because that's what I'm more with right now. They're easier to sketch with for me.
Yep.
I think my sketchbook has more ballpoint pen sketches than pencil. Oh, and then a white pen.
Yes, the white pen. I need to get a new one. Every time I've used it, I get like the ball line, you know, when it doesn't come out enough. Super annoying. I think mine was always a little bit broken from the get-go.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well. I bought it from our stationery store here called Officeworks. And the whole pen section is like just a big tester area, so someone probably let you use half of it before I bought it anyway.
I haven't been able to find any stores here that carry just white pens.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have to order them online.
I wonder, do you have like Michael's there in your town?
Yeah, they don't have them.
What?
We have Michael's. We don't. And then we have like one art store that's just like art supplies, but I haven't seen them there either.
Weird.
I know.
We don't have Michael's here. When I was in LA and I got to go to Michael's, I was like, a whole new world. It was cool. It's such a I like the fake plant aisle was really cool too.
Yeah, no, they have this. Did you see that section with all like the dollhouse trinket stuff?
Maybe. Were they like in little boxes?
Yeah, no, they have like, so they'll have little like tea sets that are like yay big and just random stuff that you would find in a house, but it's all just very, very tiny. And so I love that. It's all fun to look at.
Do you collect that stuff?
No.
You just like looking at it?
Yeah, I just like looking at it.
I'm like a big art book and zine collector. Do you dabble?
I always feel like I want to, and then I just never end up buying anything.
Oh man!
I always like talk myself out of it.
You gotta talk yourself into it. You have the Cara art books?
No, when those dropped, I like had no money whatsoever.
And they weren't cheap either.
No, but so yeah, I never ended up getting those. I did start with comics again recently, though. I'm gonna work my way through the current Wonder Woman run, and then see what else catches my eye. That one is just hard because there's so many. Like there's so many books.
Yeah.
The cheapest is like gonna be $10, and it's just all of them.
Yeah. It's annoying. You go to buy. I've got a comic book store. It's sort of weird. I live out in like the hills. I'm like looking out my window and I can see like hills. But there's like an industrial area like maybe 5 minutes away, so lots of car businesses and that sort of thing. And then in amongst all of these car businesses in this random tiny little section, there's this warehouse that's a comic book shop. It's very cool.
Oh.
So I drive down there and I get my Xena comics, of course. But even just the issues are like $10 something. I'm like, oh god.
Is Xena still ongoing right now? They started a new one,
Yeah,
right?
they started a new one.
Ooh, how is it? It's Xena.
It's Xena. It's good. The cover artists, they've got some really amazing cover artists. The story is good. It's sort of hard with comics because it's like you only get it once a month, so you can't really like invest yourself. I don't know. I'm not super invested in it.
Yeah, I'll read it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, the ones I saw were pretty nice. I think with comics, it's so much drawing. Like, you've done comics, right?
I've tried.
It's very tedious and it's so time consuming. So like sometimes when I'm reading a comic, I'm like, you start to like notice where like, oh, the artist was getting tired here.
Yes. Yes.
Happening. It is a lot, and then keeping it consistent. It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, that's another thing. I had like a 100 fan comic that I was talking about in the last episode of this that's been sitting on my desktop, completely sketched out for the last year, and I'm probably just never going to finish it.
Get it done. Suffer with me making comics.
I always feel like my layout for comics never like reads well enough.
Really?
And then I get frustrated that they don't read correctly. So, yeah. I don't know.
I get that. Yeah, it's I think it just comes with practice, in my experience. Because even, like, you know, you just do just, like, the straight down thing. I think that's the easiest way to go.
Yeah. That's what I ended up doing with a Karasami one that I did years and years and years ago. I just did, like, little self-contained pieces that, like, read as a story downwards instead of, like, panel. I think that's probably the best for me and my brain.
I like the different comics that people put out. They're fun to read.
Yes, I agree. Speaking of comics and Wonder Woman, you like doing costume redesigns.
Oh, they're so fun.
Where do you get all of these ideas? You just like do so many and they're so good and I would wear them all.
Oh, thank you. Some of it's inspiration. There's actually in the Wonder Woman comic, the one I just did that big set for Wonder Woman. And the main one, like the one in the middle of that piece, I got an inspiration in the comics. And when I read this, it was like, are you freaking kidding me? So spoilers, I guess, to anybody who's going to read it. But this is from an old issue already. So Wonder Woman has a brother named Jason. And at some point, he's introduced and he's there. And he gets like taken up by the gods or something. And then when he comes back, he's in this really, really cool armor set. Like, it's very sleek looking. It covers everything up. It looks like a legit suit of armor. And at some point, he's like, oh, Diana, this was meant for you, but it actually went to me instead. And I was like, Gah! Yeah, I was like, oh, whatever. But so he got that cool suit. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna just do something based off of that.
Yeah.
And then a lot of it is just kind of, I've been doing it for a long time. So it's kind of like, oh, well, I saw this and I kind of would like to incorporate it into this one. Or even just putting them in pants. Like, I've done Supergirl suits where, like, she's just in pants and just add a few hemlines here and a belt. And it just makes it look a little more like a superhero who's you know, who's about their business, who's gonna save the day and
dress for the job you want.
Yeah, that's like, there's this argument that was going around and they were like, oh, you guys who don't like Supergirl's skirt just don't understand the character. And I was like, no, we're just tired of seeing women superheroes with their thighs out in the open and a mini skirt. We see it with Wonder Woman. There's that shot in the Justice League movie when it's all of the Justice League and you have Batman and Aquaman and the Flash and Superman and they're all in these full body suits. They're completely covered. They look very strong and intense. And then Wonder Woman's there in her mini skirt and her, you know, her boob armor.
Yeah.
It's tired. We want to see something else. And I think that's honestly probably why the suit designs have done so well, just because they're just different than what we're seeing in mainstream media. Because there's a lot of other people doing it too, like Foley. She does a lot of butch car drawing. and it's fantastic. Like all of them are just. She looks the way she draws Supergirl. She looks very powerful and very much like just this strong person without like deviating from who Kara is as a character.
Yeah,
and I think that's really cool.
That is very cool. I met Foley at Lexicon this year, so that was cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's really.
Back to costume redesign though. I tried to do, before I started rewatching Xena, I tried to do a Xena costume redraw because that's another one that I was like, come on, like.
Yeah.
But you know, that's not to say that there isn't power in feminine attire and that sort of thing. It comes with its own sort of qualities and benefits and whatnot. But yeah, you're definitely right. There's an oversaturation of hypersexualized outfits that just could use a touch up. So
yeah, and Xena's a good one. You should revisit it. Sometimes that's what it is. It's sketching out the draft, leaving it for like 2 weeks, and then coming back and being like, oh, okay, this is what we're gonna do.
I sort of went into it not really remembering that Xena was just all like ancient Greece, and then so it was sort of more like a medieval / samurai look. Let me see if I can find it. I read Harvey's Reboot pilot script, and he had her in the black war paint, and I was like,
that would have been so cool.
I know. But yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but let's give it a whirl.
Ooh. Yeah, see, that's fantastic. It's good. And then, so even in ancient Greece, you have the Assassin's Creed game that just came out. It had Cassandra running around in a skirt, but it didn't take away from her, like, just looking like she could just
snap someone in half.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know what it's just little adjustments here and there that you'll see that you'd be like, okay, does this need to be longer? So like in that picture, you had a pretty long skirt on her. And I think, you know, again, you just kind of make those decisions.
Yeah.
A lot of people will come after you and be like, this isn't historically accurate. And I'm like, it's a superhero.
This isn't historically accurate. Did you watch Xena at all?
I know. It's like, Xena did not invent medicine for you to brag on her.
Xena did not invent CPR for you to disrespect her like this.
Honestly, that's always my go-to episode because of the centaur baby.
Yes, far out. That's not cool.
Dude, I remember watching that for the first time and just being like, oh.
We're here now. Good God.
I wasn't prepared. Like, nobody told me it was coming.
Have you ever listened to Xena Warrior podcast?
No, I've seen it floating around. I've never sat down and listened to it.
Those ladies are hysterical. I think you'd really get a kick out of it, especially them talking about that episode.
I will check it out. I need some new stuff to listen to.
Anyway, that's enough about Xena. Back to you. So, before I rudely interrupted you, you were doing commission work.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm working on it right now.
Yeah.
So.
What's it like? What's your process when someone commissions you? So say like I'm coming to you and I'm like, I want you to draw my original character, please. How do we go? How do we go here from me starting to commission you?
So first, I try to just get as much information on the character as I can, and I always find that's a really nice time to talk to whoever commissions me because it's kind of like this view into people's lives and kind of their things that they're interested in, and it's just always fun to listen to somebody tell you about this character that they've made and that they love and that they're developing. So that's kind of the first step, and then so from there I'll try to think of a pose based off of their personality, which doesn't always work out, but it also is like a fun exercise. Be like, this character is this way. Like in my mind, I'm like, how are they standing and how are they presenting themselves? And it feels like weird to say out loud, but that's the way my process works. So from there, I think it's probably pretty standard. Like I'll send them a picture, I'll send them the sketch I'm working on, and they'll tell me if they need something fixed or if they're not feeling it how it is. And then I'll do the first sketch, cleanup sketch, line art, colors, and then the final shading, however it's going to be. I've actually been thinking of maybe, because I had a commission recently who they weren't a very, not communicative, but they weren't super embellishing. So there was a lot of guessing on my end. And so some stuff had to be redone or changed.
Yeah.
And it's not a huge deal, but I was thinking of maybe trying to come up with some sort of, just like a card of form to fill out that would be like the color of their eyes and the kind of personality they have, hair color, that sort of thing. Because usually they'll tell you that pretty straightforward. Most people I've done original characters for, they're very, very forthcoming with information, and they're very willing to talk about their characters. But I think that just might maybe streamline the process to make it a little easier for people who are kind of coming into it for the first time.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so I gotta do that.
Yeah, I had a lady reach out to me on Instagram recently who wanted me to draw her son and her dog, and I was like, yeah, I'm totally down to do that. What are you thinking? And she was like, I have no idea. That's all I know. And I was like, cool. Let's do this together then. But yeah, that'd be a great idea. Like, even when you apply for zines and stuff, you just fill out a Google form and away you go. So that'd be a great idea. Do you ever do like little thumbnails or anything when you like are talking back and forth to the person? So like you've got your idea of who the character is, then are you like, okay, so any of these tickle your pickle or whatever the saying is? I'll just let myself out.
I haven't heard that since I was like in high school. No, yeah, that's my starting point is it'll be thumbnails, which I actually had to get into the hang of doing.
Yeah.
But so yesterday I actually had 3 thumbnails with 7 characters.
Good God.
Yeah, no, it's actually, I really, one of the things that I think is really great about commissions is that it does often force you outside your comfort zone in a way that kind of makes you grow and do stuff that you wouldn't normally do. So like this, I've never had a picture with 7 characters in it before. So I've even done just the thumbnails, and it was a learning experience, and it kind of forces me to just think in a different way. And they picked one of those, and I was really glad because I was like, I don't know if I could come up with more.
I have no idea how to fit 7 characters into a piece more than 3 times. But that's a lot of thinking on your behalf. If you're thinking about every character's pose and personality, that's a lot of brain power. It must get really tiring.
A little bit, but again, it's fun and it's cool. So like the one I have right now that I'm working on, it's the same character but from like 2 different universes. So then it's going to be a challenge to be like, okay, so this is the same person, but they still need to be different and their own based on their own experiences. So I think it's going to be a fun time, and it's going to be a challenge, and I appreciate that.
Thanks for listening to episode 2 with Plastic Pipes. Thank you so much, Pipes, for taking the time to talk to me and answering some of my silly questions. It was a lot of fun. Leave a comment down below on who you'd like to see me talk to in the future. You can even send me a message over on Instagram and Twitter. Maybe you've got a question that you want to see me ask someone. Let me know. Thanks again. See you next time.